Hey there, car enthusiasts and casual drivers alike. It's your pal Jay Leno here, and boy do I have a story for you. It's about something we all love, cars, and something we all need, clean air. Now I know what you're thinking. Jay, those two things don't usually go together. Well, buckle up because I'm about to blow your mind faster than a supercharged V8. Remember the good old days when you could see the air you were breathing in big cities? Yeah, me neither, and thank goodness for that. We've come a long way from the smog-filled skies of the past, and a big part of that is thanks to a little gizmo hiding under your car. It's not as flashy as chrome wheels or as loud as a sweet exhaust system, but it's doing more for our air quality than you might think. I'm talking, of course, about the catalytic converter. Trust me, by the time we're done, you'll be looking at that metal box under your car with a whole new appreciation. Alright folks, let's get down to brass tacks. What exactly is this catalytic converter we're yapping about? Well, picture this. You're at a wild party, stick with me here, and things are getting a bit rowdy. Suddenly, your responsible friend shows up and starts turning those crazy dance moves into something a bit more socially acceptable. That's basically what a catalytic converter does for your car's exhaust. It's the designated driver of the automotive world. In simple terms, a catalytic converter is a metal box that sits in your car's exhaust system. It's usually somewhere between the engine and the muffler, minding its own business and doing its job without any fuss. Inside this box is where all the magic happens. It's like a chemical nightclub where all the bad exhaust gases go to get transformed into less harmful substances before they hit the open air. It's taking all those nasty pollutants your engine produces, carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxides, and unburned fuel, and turning them into carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and water vapor. It's like a magician, but instead of pulling rabbits out of hats, it's pulling clean air out of dirty exhaust. Now let's pop the hood on how these magical boxes actually do their thing. Don't worry, I promise not to get too technical. We're not building rockets here, just understanding how our cars help keep the air clean. Mechanic Mike, think of a catalytic converter as a sort of chemical obstacle course for your car's exhaust gases. It's like one of those Ninja Warrior shows, but instead of buff athletes, we've got molecules doing the acrobatics. Mechanic Mike, the inside of a catalytic converter is coated with precious metals, usually platinum, palladium, and rhodium. These metals act as catalysts, which is just a fancy way of saying they help chemical reactions happen without actually being used up themselves. Mechanic Mike, when the hot exhaust gases from your engine hit these catalyst metals, they start to break apart and recombine in new, less harmful ways. It's like a chemical dance party where everyone switches partners. Carbon monoxide, which is about as welcome in our air as a skunk at a garden party, gets an extra oxygen atom and becomes carbon dioxide. And all this happens in the blink of an eye as your exhaust zooms through the converter. Alright, gearheads, let's dive a little deeper into the nitty-gritty of what's happening inside that magical metal box. Techie Tom, think of the catalytic converter as a super efficient chemical factory, but instead of churning out products, it's cleaning up exhaust faster than you can say 0 to 60. Techie Tom. The process starts with three main bad guys in your exhaust: carbon monoxide, hydrocarbons, and nitrogen oxides. These are the troublemakers of the exhaust world, the ones that make smog and cause all sorts of environmental mischief. But our hero, the catalytic converter, is ready for them. It's got two main stages, kind of like a 1-2 punch against pollution. Techie Tom, first up is the reduction catalyst stage. This is where the nitrogen oxides get taken down a peg or two. The catalyst helps to remove oxygen from these molecules, leaving us with good old nitrogen, you know, the stuff that makes up most of our air anyway. Techie Tom, next comes the oxidation catalyst stage. This is where the carbon monoxide and hydrocarbons get their comeuppance. The catalyst here helps these molecules to combine with oxygen, turning them into carbon dioxide and water. Section 5. Breathing easy environmental benefits of catalytic converters. Now let's talk about why all this chemical wizardry matters.
Catalytic converters are like the unsung heroes of our environment, working tirelessly to keep our air cleaner than a whistle. Remember those smoggy days in Los Angeles back in the 70s? It was like driving through pea soup. Well, thank your lucky stars and your catalytic converter, because those days are largely behind us.
The environmental benefits of these little metal boxes are huge. By reducing harmful emissions, catalytic converters help to improve air quality in our cities and towns. That means less smog, clearer skies, and easier breathing for everyone.
It's like they're giving Mother Nature a helping hand, or should I say, a helping exhaust pipe. These converters are so good at their job that they can reduce harmful pollutants by up to 90%.
But it's not just about making the air prettier to look at. Cleaner air means healthier people too. Less pollution in the air means fewer respiratory problems, less asthma, and generally happier lungs all around.
So next time you're stuck in traffic, just remember, your car might not be moving, but your catalytic converter is hard at work, making the world a little bit cleaner.
Section 6. Keeping it clean. Personal perks of a working converter. Now I know what you're thinking. Jay, all this environmental stuff is great, but what's in it for me? Well, hold on to your steering wheels because a properly functioning catalytic converter isn't just good for Mother Nature. It's got some personal perks for you too.
First off, let's talk about the law. In most places, you need a working catalytic converter to pass your vehicle inspection. It's like having a hall pass for your car. Without it, you're not going anywhere.
But it's not just about staying on the right side of the law. A well-maintained catalytic converter can actually improve your car's performance.
When your converter is working properly, your engine runs more efficiently. It's like giving your car a nice, deep breath of fresh air.
Now, let's talk about something we all care about: money. A properly functioning catalytic converter can help improve your fuel efficiency. That means more miles per gallon and fewer trips to the pump.
But wait, there's more. A good catalytic converter can also help extend the life of your engine. By ensuring that all those nasty exhaust gases are properly dealt with, it's reducing the wear and tear on your engine components.
So not only are you saving money on gas, but you might also be saving on costly engine repairs down the road. Now that's what I call a win-win situation.
Section 7, from smog to clear skies, a brief history. All right, history buffs, let's take a quick trip down memory lane.
Back in the 1950s and 60s, our cities were choking on smog. Los Angeles looked like it was permanently stuck in a foggy horror movie. Something had to be done, and fast.
Enter the Clean Air Act of 1970. This was the government's way of saying, enough is enough with all this pollution business. It set strict standards for vehicle emissions, and suddenly, automakers were scrambling to find a solution.
It was like a high-stakes episode of Pimp My Ride, but instead of adding flashy rims, they needed to add something to make cars cleaner.
The first catalytic converters hit the scene in 1975. These early models were, well, let's just say they had some room for improvement. They were like the first cell phones, big, clunky, and not very efficient.
These early converters only had two-way catalysts, meaning they could only handle carbon monoxide and hydrocarbons. Nitrogen oxides were still partying like it was 1999.
But the automotive world doesn't stand still for long. By the 1980s, we saw the introduction of three-way catalytic converters. These bad boys could handle all three major pollutants: carbon monoxide, hydrocarbons, and nitrogen oxides.
Since then, catalytic converter technology has only gotten better and more efficient. Today's converters are like the superheroes of the automotive world: small, powerful, and always ready to save the day, or at least the air quality.
Section 8. Converter Capers. Fun facts and quirky anecdotes. Now I know what you're thinking. Jay, catalytic converters sound about as exciting as watching paint dry. But hold your horses, folks. These little pollution busters have some pretty interesting stories to tell.
Did you know that the precious metals in catalytic converters are so valuable that there's a whole criminal underworld dedicated to stealing them? It's true. Some converters contain more platinum than a rapper's teeth.
Speaking of precious metals, here's a fun fact that'll make you the hit of your next car meet. The platinum used in catalytic converters is so rare that some scientists have suggested mining it from asteroids. That's right, we might need to go to space to keep our air clean here on Earth.
It's like your car is wearing jewelry that's literally worth its weight in gold, or platinum in this case.
Here's another quirky tidbit for you. Ever wonder why your car sometimes smells like rotten eggs? Well, blame it on the catalytic converter. When these devices start to go bad, they can produce a sulfurous smell that's about as pleasant as a skunk's perfume.
So if your ride starts smelling like last week's forgotten egg salad, it might be time for a trip to the mechanic.
And here's one last converter caper for the road. In some parts of the world, people have tried using catalytic converters to filter moonshine. Now, I'm not recommending this. Seriously, don't try this at home. But it goes to show how effective these little devices are at chemical reactions. They're so good at their job that some folks thought they could turn bad booze into top-shelf liquor. Spoiler alert, it doesn't work, and it's definitely not safe. Stick to using your converter for cleaning exhaust, not cocktails.
Section 9. The price of clean air. Why thieves love converters. Now, let's talk about something that might make you want to give your car a protective hug. Catalytic converter theft. Yep, you heard that right. These unassuming little boxes have become hot commodities in the criminal underworld. It's like gone in 60 seconds, but instead of stealing whole cars, these crooks are after one specific part. And let me tell you, they can be gone in a lot less than 60 seconds.
So why are these exhaust cleaning contraptions so appealing to the sticky-fingered crowd? Well, it all comes down to what's inside. Remember those precious metals we talked about earlier? Platinum, palladium, and rhodium? They're not just good at cleaning up exhaust, they're also worth a pretty penny. In fact, some of these metals are worth more per ounce than gold.
It's like having a tiny Fort Knox strapped to the underside of your car. So next time you park, maybe give your car a little extra love and protection.